So now I'm going to introduce a very wonderful, nice gentleman that I've met. I don't know him for too long. His name is John Hobbs, and he's been with Max International for about 8 years, John, that correct? And he has a real passion for what the products and the opportunity has done in his own life and with his own family. He's a father of 2 beautiful girls, and he has one gorgeous granddaughter, and he is in the business of information management consulting. So without further ado, you're going to love this part. Here's John Hobbs.
Good evening. So we're going to talk a little bit about the products. One of the things that I'll talk about since this slide is up is some of our certifications. National Sanitation Foundation, that blue circle, NSF, it has certain standards for the production of all kinds of things, not the least of which is pharmaceutical drugs and nutritional supplements. Now, the interesting thing is that we are certified to deliver and manufacture our products to pharmaceutical grade, and there's not many nutritional supplement companies that do that. We're halal certified and kosher certified. You see the little Canadian flag down there. In 2012, January 2012, Health Canada issued a license for Max One, pure ribosine, nothing else in it. So effectively, it's a license for ribosine. The interesting thing is that there's 2 classes of licenses that Health Canada issues. The first class is for standard nutritional supplements, and it says, we've looked at the ingredient list and we don't see the ingredients causing people any significant harm. And most nutritional supplement companies will get that level of certification and put things on store shelves. We went a whole lot further. We wanted Class 2 certification. And with Class 2 certification, we say, or Health Canada says, not only is it safe, but here's what it does in the body. The license for Max One said that it increases glutathione in the body. Now, the other interesting thing about that license, I've got a copy of the original license that was published. There's a section that says cautions and warnings. And if there's reasons for you not to take it, they've got this heading called contraindications. That section doesn't exist in the license for Max One. There's also a heading that says known adverse effects. That section is missing in the license for Max One. And there's a reason for that. BSCG, that little gold symbol, Banned Substance Control Group, that says all of our products are guaranteed not to have any banned substances in them. That means Olympic athletes, professional athletes, and of course everybody else can safely take these things and not be harmed. And every batch is certified. Our flagship product, Celgevity, it's got ribosine in it, plus 12 other ingredients that work synergistically with the ribosine to deliver benefits around oxidative stress reduction and eradication of free radicals. It's got, as I said, a whole bunch of ingredients. I'm not going to talk about each one of them. One of the things you should do is go to our website where it talks about the products, pick each of the products, and associated with each one is a list of ingredients. If you click on or hover over one of the ingredients, it tells you why this product is in our particular product, why the item is in them. Look at resveratrol. It's known to improve heart health. Alpha-lipoic acid, for example, is a known antioxidant, powerful antioxidant in itself, as is turmeric. Milk thistle, all kinds of good benefits there. Cordyceps. That bottom one confused me when I first saw it. Black pepper. What are we doing with black pepper in Celgevity? Well, it turns out there's a whole bunch of research that says that black pepper enhances the absorption of nutrients in the cells. There's good reasons for every one of these ingredients to be in Celgevity. Next product is Max Enfuse. It's essentially a very specialized vitamin and mineral supplement. It contains important antioxidants and vitamins and nutrients. It enhances all kinds of things. If you look, at the bottom, it's difficult to read there, but it says you need this much, a cup of spinach and 6 cups of almonds and 3 pounds of cauliflower and 70 eggs to get these nutrients. 20,000 calories worth of, I couldn't eat that much food every day. There's just no way. 10 calories. Comes in a little packet, it's powder. It dissolves in water. And as a consequence, all of it goes straight into your bloodstream and to your cells, nearly 100% bioavailability. This is the one we call our magic weapon, Max ATP. It was originally intended for athletes. It is a performance drink. It's not an energy drink. Energy drinks are almost pure caffeine and sugar. That's where you get this temporary blast of energy from. There's very little sugar in it and a tiny amount of caffeine, and the caffeine comes from a green tea extract, so there's a lot of good things in it. As I said, it has to do with increasing your performance, increasing mental focus, and the thing that athletes love about it is its recovery time. Now, you don't use it just for working out at the gym. Although I take one before I go to my workout every time. As Bernadette mentioned, didn't Bernadette do a great job? Fantastic. As Bernadette mentioned, I'm in the information systems business. I'm a senior management consultant. This is July. This marks 50 years in the information systems business for me. And one of the things I do is chair executive workshops, act as focus group leader. I write management reports. I have to get very creative and to the point. I take an ATP before one of these workshop sessions, so I've got the energy and mental focus to lead the group. I take an ATP before I'm writing a management report, so I make sure that things are clear. My mom and my sister live about a 5-hour drive from me. I take an ATP before I get in the car, so I've got mental focus for the entire trip. Interesting thing about this is you take it with about 2 ounces of water, and you feel the effect in about 15, 20 minutes. So that's why we call it our magic weapon here, because we've got something we can give to somebody and they feel the difference very quickly and they get some credibility that our products work. Here's a relatively new product, Max 357. It contains omega oils, and omegas are vital to our health. The cod oil is omega-3. Pomegranate seed oil, the omega-5, and the omega-7 is from fresh pollock. Now, the interesting thing is that you go to Costco and you see these big bottles of omega-3 and 6, or sometimes you'll see bottles of 6 and 9. Well, the problem is we've got far too much 6 in our diet already. We don't need any more 6. But to counteract all that 6, we need some 3. The ratio of 3 to 6 is important. You need it in balance, which is why we're focusing on 6 and 5 and 7. It supports the immune system, gives us fatty acids. It's a natural source of vitamin C, that's the 3s. The pomegranate seed oil gives us some higher antioxidant levels, and it improves the digestive tract. The interesting thing is when I started on the 357, within about 3 days, I noticed my bowel function was much improved. I know you don't want to hear about that in terms of details, but nevertheless, it's true. Fresh pollock fish oil, very fresh. The fish is harvested from the Arctic seas north of Norway, and it is processed within 6 hours of being caught while it's still on the boat. Benefits for skin, hair, and nails, and it's really good for cardiovascular health, which is an important thing for lots of us. Switch, the MetaSwitch system. They say it's a healthy weight management system. I would suggest to you that's a bit of a misnomer. It's a healthy fat management system. I'm going to digress here just for a moment. In 2013, for quite a considerable period of time, my daughters were nagging and bitching at me. I was a bit overweight. No, I was obese. And I had difficulty climbing stairs, and I would huff and puff. Dad, you got to work out. Dad, we're worried about your health. Dad. Finally, to get them to shut up, I joined their gym. Never been to a gym in my life, but I joined their gym. And I saw all this equipment, and I said, I'm going to hurt myself. So I engaged the services of a personal trainer. 3 times a week, an hour each time, training. Oh, it was terrible. At the end of 3 months, I must admit that I wasn't huffing and puffing quite so much. I had a bit more energy, a bit more flexibility in my joints and so forth. I got on the scales and I had lost a total of 1 pound. Now, it so happens that that was September of 2013 when we launched the Switch product. And I said, okay, if I'm going to be selling this stuff, I want to be sure it works. So I went on the Switch system. 90 days later, this is just before Christmas, I had lost 15 pounds, but the more important thing is that I had to buy a new belt in order for my trousers to stay up. The following September, I'd been on the system for 12 months. I'd lost 55 pounds. I had to replace every article of clothing in my closet except my shoes and my ties. That was a little pricey, but anyway, it was worth it. So we've got things that promote healthy cholesterol levels, level out the blood sugar levels, supports a healthy metabolism. It actually appears to increase the metabolism. It activates something called the AMPK pathway, which does a few things. First, it dampens your hunger. So you take a couple of capsules before each meal, and after about 30, 45 minutes, you're not quite so hungry anymore. So you're satisfied with a smaller portion. Now, it's not magic. If you eat the smaller portion and are satisfied with that, fine. If you continue to eat the 2,000 calories on your plate that you used to eat, it's not going to help you. But one of the habits I had to get into was being satisfied with the smaller portion. When I was no longer hungry, I stopped eating, and I had to put things in the fridge or throw them out and ignore that voice of my mother in my head that says, clean your plate. Promotes good digestive health, ideal fiber ratio. Oh, the other thing the AMPK pathway activation does is it tamps down the tendency of your body to store spare carbohydrates as fat, and it increases the body's tendency to burn off fat faster. And what you notice while you're on the system is that you're getting smaller. The scales may not be going down as fast as you might like, but your clothes are getting looser. It works. Order your MetaSwitch products, take 30. I talked about some of that. And they've got some advice online about how best to deal with diet and exercise to support weight loss while taking the Switch system.
There are some wonderful stories from some above average folks and some very average folks like me who have got great results with the product. And I'd like to call on stage here Wayne Robinson. Please, Wayne, come here as these guys are recognizing you here. Now, Wayne is your triathlete, and John, I'm having a very hard time reading your writing, so I apologize, but he's part of the Team Canada, and I'll let him share his story because I know he has a compelling story about our wonderful product. So please go ahead, Wayne. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so how do I start? In 2015, a friend of mine introduced me to the Max products. I was a little tired, and I went to the gym, and I felt great. So I was on the products for a couple of years. And then in 2017, I was at the World Championships in Rotterdam, and I wasn't pleased with my race. And I had an extra 20 pounds here, so it makes everything a little harder on the run. I came back and I said to my friend who I was buying the products from, but I wasn't being religious about it. And I said, that's it, I'm in, I want to be an associate, I want to do this. And I started on the products. I added products. I was always on Celgevity and ATP, and I had the Enfuse. So what I did was I tried the Switch product, and I didn't notice it. I really didn't. I was like, okay, I'm still taking it, I'm still doing it. But then people at work, about a month later, you've lost weight. And 2 months later, holy crow, you've lost weight. But then it was the pants. Like, even these, like every time I buy pants, they still fall off all the time. It doesn't. I don't even weigh myself anymore. I just feel. I go, okay, you look good. I feel good. So anyway, when I went on the products full time, something happened. I turned 50 last year, and I said I want to be in the best shape of my life, and I put a lot of emphasis on my race season. I wanted to make Team Canada again, but I also wanted to do Ironman again because I turned 50, and that was my gift to myself, because everybody has to give yourself something. So I went off, did a 70.3, which is a half Ironman, and my best time before that was 5 hours, 26 minutes, and I did it in 5:08 on a tough course. And I was like, oh, that was pretty damn good. I think I'm going to do another one. So 3 weeks later, I went to Calgary. But before I did Calgary, I had a race in Toronto, which had 3 spots for Team Canada for age group 50 to 54. And what happened was I floored myself. I'd never really been on the podium. I'm kind of a top 5, top 10 guy, and I finished second. And I finished second, and I beat my time, my best ever time for Olympic by 3 minutes. I did 2:18 for the Olympic distance, which is 1,500 meter swim, 40K cycle, 10K run. And I was like, wow, what is going on? I'm 50. I'm not supposed to get better. But remember, I'm taking the products every day now. I took the Switch, helped me lose 20 pounds. I'm on the Celgevity every day. My recovery is happening. I was like, I can work out more. I can go for runs more often. I can go swimming, and I can go biking. I can go to the gym and lift weights. I can do everything because my recovery was so much quicker by taking the products. Then I went to Calgary, and I blew myself away. So you heard I went from 5:26 to a 5:08, 4:45, 70.3, 4:45. I was, what the heck? So anyway, then I had a race in Montreal, which mechanical errors, not my bike basically fell apart. You got to tighten everything. Anyway, then it came to Ironman, Cozumel, October. It was a brutally windy course. We had 3 laps and into the wind. So it was a total of 69 of the 180 kilometers of the bike was into the wind. It devastated people. 1,800 people started, 1,400 finished. That's almost 20%. It's unheard of. I still did 11 hours, 12 minutes, 7 minutes off my best ever. And the amazing part was when I crossed the finish line, basically, medical tent was always my cross the finish line in Ironman. This time, the lady looked at me and goes, no, you're fine. You're good. I was talking, I was lucid. I felt great. I felt like I should keep on going. The next day was the real true test, because when I got the next day, I felt great. I actually felt like I could go again. And I could see a lot of the other athletes that were just exhausted. I wanted to go for a swim. I just felt really good. And nothing hurt. Like, I've never had it. You're doing 11 to 12 hours of straight working out. Some things are going to hurt. Nothing hurt. These products have made me a better triathlete, a healthier human. I will be on the rest of my life. Thank you
very much. Let's give him a hand, please. The next person I'd like to call here to share is Lisa Simone. I know it's short notice, and thank you, Lisa, for accepting the share. Again, some wonderful, wonderful testimonies. And folks, this is happening all over the world. All over the world. So again, let's welcome Lisa on stage here as she's coming up.
Hello, I'm Lisa Simone, and I live in East York. and my sister was up here just before, a little while ago, Bernadette. And Max has changed my life. I'm new, relatively new, about 6 months now. Prior to being exposed to the products and the I like to call it a health technology and the business opportunity, I was struggling in a big way. Single mom, 2 kids, and I was a health professional like my sister at the time. And I had built a business of my own, just like my sister. And things were going well. And in 2009, I was rear-ended on the highway. And my life just pretty much came to an abrupt halt. Although I didn't know it in that moment, I thought that I would have some rehabilitation and I would be restored to my pre-accident state. And it was very important to me because I just started an independent business of my own. That didn't happen. I had numerous soft tissue injuries. I had broken toes. I injured my wrists, which I needed as a dental hygienist at the time. And that wasn't that, I had rehabilitation almost every day for 4 to 5 years. I was wiped out going to rehabilitation. It wasn't helping me. I was on narcotics. I was going to the hospital. I was in emergency constantly for debilitating chronic pain. That was my worst symptom. And when I say debilitating, I mean debilitating. From head to toe, my jaw was completely dysfunctional at times. It was like there were 2 screws on either side of my head and that someone was tightening with a screwdriver. That's how it felt. That's how painful it was. And just that symptom alone, I had very dark times in my life where I just didn't want to get out of bed. It was so painful. And nothing helped me with the pain. I suffered for 10 years with this chronic pain, and then I began to get other symptoms with anxiety, depression, became regular staples in my life. I had to leave my profession. I lost my business, which was very fledgling at the time. I ended up losing my home. I couldn't work. Things were really, really dark. But I thought to myself, if I could feel better in some way, life would have some meaning again. And I worked towards that. And I was always someone who was for the natural way of things. That was just my personal choice of wanting to approach my health, my limitations. So I tried everything that I could try in that regard. And, I was still always very fatigued. I worked when I could work. There was no meaningful consistency there. I was on and off for many, many years, notwithstanding that my kids, they suffered quite a bit because they had only me to rely on. But I have to say my family's been very supportive, so I was very blessed and lucky to have that because I don't know where I would have been if I didn't have my family. So about 6 months ago, my sister and my mother, they both, as you heard, you didn't hear about my mother, but she was almost crippled with arthritis. Hairdresser of 50 years now. So she was almost headed to the wheelchair, and she, went on the products, and they had very good results. So they exposed me to it. They wanted me to try it. I was very resistant to it at first because I had tried almost everything that I could try, and I was, feeling negative at the time. But about 6 months ago, I was starting to get worse in the way I was feeling, numbness, tingling, not able to, walk at times, and I was getting very worried. So I thought, what do I have to lose? I'm going to try these products. So I went on Celgevity and I went on Enfuse faithfully, consistently. And I can tell you that almost immediately I noticed a difference in my energy levels, which was really astounding for me that in 10 years sometimes I couldn't get out of bed for days, sometimes weeks at a time I couldn't get out of my bed or off the couch. So this was enough to make me sit up and pay attention. 3 to 4 months in, I can honestly say that my chronic pain has resolved by probably about 85 to 90%. it's been when I was told that I would, I just have to find my new normal. You're just going to have to, it's just, you're going to have it, it's what it is, and that's just find your new normal, make changes in your life. I didn't want to do that. Okay. I still had aspirations. My body wasn't working for me, but my mind was still working for me, and I still, I had a life to live. My kids, I still had dreams and goals. So I am now, I'm not in pain anymore. And I want to cry almost when I say that, because 10 years of being in pain every day, if anybody can identify with that, that is life-changing, life-altering. So that in of itself, I'm so thankful and blessed that I have found this. And because of this, I've had a redirection in my life. Because I am in legal services, I'm hopefully about to become a paralegal, and I'm an advocate. I've always been an advocate for things. When I see this, when I learn what this is all about, this is what I want to advocate for now. And this is my commitment, my passion now, is Max International. And I'm so excited to go forward and have the best of both worlds. But I'm able to do everything now. I enjoy life. I have a life with my kids. The opportunity is there. I want to help other people who have gone through similar circumstances, because chronic pain is everywhere. It doesn't matter what people are suffering from, but could be just, their job or whatever the case. Chronic pain is very real, and I want to help other people do that. But at the same time, I want to get my life back, and I want to be productive again, and I want to regain what I lost in the last 10 years. And I truly believe that Max International is going to do that for me.
Let's give her a hand.